Doug, have you ever heard about Dungeons and Dragons? Yes, Tim, I have. And actually, I'm going to give it a few tries for quite some time now, of course. But I do not have anyone to play with. Ah, you want to try? Oh, of course! Hello my friends and welcome to this episode which, as you have read in the title, it is the Session 0. Yeah! It's a terrible pain in the to begin playing D&D, and you have to make sure that you have everything set in order to play D&D. Let's see what someone should do, or better have checked and made sure that everyone understands in the very first session of Dungeons & Dragons, the Session 0. Okay, you gather the table and you really feel awkward till someone starts speaking. Do not worry, we have all been there. You may not probably heard about Dungeons & Dragons, or you may have probably heard about D&D and the so-called important Session 0, where you roll the dice for your character, yes, and create your character. We have a whole video on that. Perhaps this is what you aim to do. Just as we speak now, you're about to get the dice and roll for your attributes, but hold on, do not go so fast. Not so fast, my friend. Slow down a little bit and think about you and the players that are at the table. Imagine if you are the DM, or if you're not the DM, just a player, please let your DM know about this video. Thank you. If it is your first time playing, or anyone's first time, it doesn't matter if it's not your first time, because someone is going to be its first time, or you have new homebrew rules, or anything, just please do it. If it's not your first time, skip this one, but if it is your first time playing D&D, does everyone understand what is D&D, what is role-playing, and how it is supposed to be? If not, then you may need to remind everyone what roleplay means and what D&D is about. So, is everyone on the right track? Great! Now, let's move on. Once everyone knows what D&D is, the Dungeon Master should go ahead and explain what adventure they will be running. It is going to be a pre-made adventure and official setting, or is it completely homebrew, their own mind, a story of their own? It's great, isn't it? What I mean by that is not give them all the details of the game, but give them the certain lore and history that they need. What I mean by that, do not go ahead and tell them, I will be running this adventure that goes like this and this and this. Just say them, I will be running this adventure that takes place in this world. This is how the adventure is called, in the world, and how it is called, and everything that contains all the details of the game the players are gonna play. No spoilers after all, no one wants spoilers, do they? But explain what is the setting, what the world looks like. Give certain pieces of lore and locations to help the players come up with incredible backstories and places to visit, or the birthplace and their connection to the world, and overall give some of the world's history that is important and everybody knows. Then it will be easy to incorporate the things they like to the world into their backstories, and also, super important, be specific about the game type you're gonna play. Is it going to be a full combat focused game where you'll be all the time rolling dice to see if you kill the enemy, or is it going to be more role-playing focused, with little to no battle at all? Is the game's politics heavy? Is it diplomacy heavy? Or do these things mean anything to your world? Do they mean nothing? Just think about this and let your players know, because they can adjust their expectations of the game, and you can tell them what they can expect from the game. And then you can find the middle way where you can give them what they expect and they can play what you expect. Once you've got all that clued out, it is time for the Dungeon Master again to reveal their intentions about using homebrew rules. Which are they? Or if they're going to go strictly by the book. The players must know what to expect concerning homebrew, so nothing comes out of the blue later on. What I mean by that is that you have to establish the certain rules you're going to be using, and how free, how open the Dungeon Master is towards homebrew rules and items of the rest of the players. And everyone has to agree on certain homebrew rules and how the world works in the first instance of this session. Because nothing then can come out of the blue and can concern anyone and spoil and ruin the game. What I mean by that is that you have something written like it works like this, and all of a sudden, because you think it's cool, or because you want to spoil the game, or whatever reason, you change the way that it behaves, and then the players go, hey, isn't that supposed to go like that way? Yes, but I changed the rule. Why? Because I don't want to be rude, but you are an AO. So you don't have to change the rules willy-nilly. Everyone must be okay with it, and everyone must know how the world works and why the specific things work the way they do. All these are done in the session 0, so nothing can interrupt the flow of the game later on, and you'll have much more fun this way. Now, since all these are out of the way and everyone is on the same page concerning the game, the setting, the lore, the nature of the game, the rules, you should all go ahead and talk about the characters you think about playing. Everyone should discuss what they're going to play and what they think of playing, so they can work together on creating a good story, on creating a good and interesting group overall, without having anyone cry on later.
Why did you go Clary to hear us? The useless scum.
This is a very rude and very idiotic to say, because all you have agreed at the first session, session 0, what to play and what makes a group interesting and great. Have all these sorted out now. Once everyone knows what they're playing, roll the dice and the attributes and create the character. I got a whole 2-part video on that, links in the description. So during that time, you can talk about each character's backstory. All the players should talk about their backstory, what they're thinking of their previous life, where they come from, who they are overall, what's the connection to the world, what's the connection to the rest of the players. Should everyone be related or be completely strangers? Are they from the same town, the same city, village? Are they even from the same zone? Are they even from here, from this plane of existence? What drove them to start adventuring and all this stuff? The Dungeon Master must help this process of backstory ideas, because everyone should be part of the world, and the backstory is exactly that. One tip for you Dungeon Masters out there: you should hear everyone's backstory, and you should try and process these things of the backstory, tie them somehow, and introduce them to the world, so you get moments where some player understands something in the world that it comes from their backstory, and they're like, oh, this is that thing from that town, from that time. Oh my god, you put it in this game? First time they play D&D, and you get their backstory and what they do seriously, and you introduce them. If it's not into the game at all, introduce them something from their backstory, they will be fascinated, and you will have players for life. That's the best information I can give you. Once this is ready, you should be probably 2 to 3 hours in session 0, perhaps 4 if you get too excited with the lore stuff and character creation and mechanic stuff. Perhaps it's time to call it for the night. Do not bother with reading the rules now for everyone, since they should be applied to be learned. And the rules are too many. There are too many rules out there, and you cannot learn them just by reading them in one night. Session 0, where you have already spent 4 hours trying to create the character. Just go through the basics of the dice rolling and the importance of the D20, and as you should always do, remind the players of the importance of the D20 to the character creation, so you have learned basic stuff in the character creation. The mechanics will be learned as the game goes. You cannot explain them how combat works without actually having any combat to see them in action. No manuals is better than experience. Remember that. Go home and think about your character and the backstory you're going to create, and send it to the DM. The DM should read everyone's backstory. Hopefully no one will have 10 pages of backstory, and prepare for the game. What to look and note from one's backstory is a whole other story. It's a whole other topic, and we will not go through it now. So for you DMs out there, I will be having a cheat guide and tips on how to prepare for the game, especially how to prepare for the first session of the game, what you need to understand from the players. And that is it, my friends. That's what a good and full session 0 should contain. If you didn't know what to do in your first encounter with everyone at the table, now you know what to do. Do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel, it helps a lot. Thank you for keeping this channel running. Do not miss our epic deals and giveaways on Patreon and everywhere, so make sure to follow us and like us on all social media, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest. Links are down below. You can follow us on Patreon, of course, to get super extra important and great deals and super duper deals, especially now. And of course, if you just want one-time donation to the channel, if you're like, I have $1, why not give it there? Poof! You can go on Coffee, link in the description, and buy me a coffee. Or donate. Yes, support me. Overall. Thank you. We publish on Dungeon Masters Guild and Drivethrurpg on a regular basis, so keep an eye to that as well. Links in the description. It has a ton of great stuff over there. Both of these sites. DMsGuild is especially D&D related and based, and Drive-Thru has anything you want for any game system you want. And as always, my friends, Te doy una. You like that finish, don't you?